Hello and welcome to Secrets Mystery Manor. I'm your host, Psychic Zelda Kelly. Warning: this podcast may contain sensitive material. It is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer and listening discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome everyone to Secrets Mystery Manor. I'm really excited today. We have a very special show, and I know this is the first time we've been bringing this to you, right? So I hope you get snuggled in, get your blankets, get your snacks, get your teddy bear. We're probably going to talk about a few little scary stuff. And I just want to give everyone a warning that we will be talking about scaring stuff. I know that you have a warning here before we started, but I do want to reiterate again that this may not be for the faint-hearted. So we're going to be talking about ghosts and EVPs and scary stuff. And while it might seem normal to myself and especially for my guests, I know a lot of you like to hear that. So this is going to be a lot of fun, and I want to welcome Nick Davis and Christine Austin from Purgatory Stories Investigations. And I want to thank both of you for coming on. How are you today? How are you tonight? How's things?
Thank you. Hey, we're good. And, we're just really glad that you are letting us have this opportunity to just sit and chit-chat with you. We've talked previously, and we just had such a good time talking with you, and we're just really excited.
Oh, good. Well, I really love talking with you, too, and I'm excited to have you on here. You're our first paranormal investigative team that is coming on, and you are based out of Ohio. Is that correct?
Yeah, half of our team is South Ohio, Chillicothe, and half of us is from Columbus. Nice.
Well, I know it's been kind of cold to do any type of investigations, but I think you guys, you brave just about all the elements, don't you, to go out and do an investigation?
Yeah, we are definitely, we like to think about it a lot before we go out. We definitely do all the research that we can on it before we do get to the investigation. We try to get a good feel for it to know what we're kind of working with. So we do go year round. We like the cold weather. Yeah. We'll go out to cemeteries and the snow. We do all kinds of. Yeah. Like this last investigation, we went to Madison, Ohio, to the Madison Seminary, and it was one day after we had got that big snowstorm. They had 28 inches of snow. Their roads were completely perfect. Yeah. It looked like out of a picture. Everybody's driveways, they were professionals with it, and it was 19 degrees. I was wearing layers on layers. So, yeah, we definitely committed to go.
I bet.
Yeah, it's really a passion it's a passion for our team. It's something that we talk about all the time. We research. We love the paranormal, and we never seem to want to take a break from it. We're always looking for the next thing that we can see what we can grab and get.
I love that because, being in this field for as many years as I've been, it seems like once you experience this, it's almost like you crave the next experience. It's just the more you learn, the more you want to learn, and the more you just feel like, gosh, I've just got to get out there. I've got to get out there.
Right.
That's how I feel now. I mean, we've been under this lockdown now. It's currently February of 2022. Yeah, it's been terrible. But the burning question that I have, and I think many of our listeners do as well, do you think this pandemic, and do you think that the events in our world have amped up, have turned up the volume on any paranormal activity in our world, in our areas. How do you think that? Do you think that may have anything to do with it?
Well, I kind of feel that, I mean, a location, you know, if it's dubbed to be haunted and, you know, to go out there and actually experience it yourself, it really helps to understand it maybe a lot. I feel like even though some of the places that we do go to, a lot of people go to them, and usually it's like every other day. I think this like some of these places they have people there.
Wow.
So yeah, even during the pandemic, but I mean, I feel if the location is active and it's got a spiritual inhabitants, I really think that it don't really. I don't know. I don't think it really has anything to do with how.
Well, we've discussed the 5G towers.
Yeah.
How that seems to be a source.
Yeah.
Of energy, and I've tried to notice that a lot of our locations that seem to be the most active, there's towers nearby. There's a lot of energy. There's big transformers. There's a lot of people living in a lot of places, and we're using a lot of electronics now, so a lot more electricity, which is substations, and that's a lot of energy just out there. And I also feel like negativity is being able to be spread at a faster rate through media and just through influence. Like I feel like that is a lot of things, a lot of amped up energy.
I agree. I think the vibes and the frequency waves and the energy. You're both very right on how
and
this
that's
comes
easier,
about. Yes.
It's easier to spread that than joy and happiness. And then the pandemic, that's fear based.
Yeah.
And that feeds a lot of negativity, and that's why we're finding a lot of cases where people have paranormal activity in their home out of nowhere, and they've just been in the wrong place in the wrong time and had something follow them home. Like it's just, they're able to draw that energy out.
You know, isn't that interesting though? Because, you know, and I know we've talked about it, I myself have had, since I've lived in this particular location in this condo, I've had all kinds of different, just amazing things going on, and things that I would have never thought. And you know, this is a relatively new condo complex. People think, oh well, you know, ghosts are associated, or spirits are associated with old houses and old cemeteries. It doesn't matter. If you're going to get activity, it can be brand new construction. It can be everywhere and anywhere. It's amazing how these things happen. I have an interesting
theory about that.
Okay.
And
let's hear it.
This has been the accumulation of my research here lately. This is what's been consuming me, is the fact that I believe that energy and emotions, like, we leave imprints, we leave stains on everything.
Yeah.
It can be an object, it can be land, it can be a home, it can be any tangible thing that has, you know, been around trauma or just a really strong emotion. And I feel like with and that ties in with the theory of the 5G towers maybe amping it up, and that's why we're seeing more activity. So the first thing I always dive into when you're saying new condo, the first thing I would do is, okay, new development, I'm going to research the land. I'm going to figure out what was here before and what could have happened that could have possibly abstained. Because I feel like a lot of hauntings now are residual energy, just energy that's been left behind that's able to, now we're able to see further into it.
Exactly, and infiltrate. Well, you know, here in this condo, I've noticed that, you know, we're in a big college district, so there's been a lot of people above us. It's a townhome type. The condo I have is like one floor, there are 2 townhomes split above me that are 2-story. It really depends on who's living above me. I mean, we've had grad students, we've had different, we've got a girl right now, but there are times I wonder what on earth they're doing up there. I mean, and the activity is completely different. And, I think definitely that there is a lot of things that are going on up there. On the one side, and the one gentleman, he bought this, he's in grad school. He's so quiet, you never hear. The girl on the other side, wow. And it's not partying. It's screaming. It's all kinds of crazy things. So, yeah, I can tell you, you are absolutely right. All I have to say is I'll be so bloody glad when I get out of this place. But, it follows, and especially follows me. That's my next question. Do you have entities, energies, whatever you want to call it? Do they follow you? Have you been followed, or have you had an attachment?
I personally haven't had an attachment. I feel like my home is my sanctuary. So when I'm at home, I do push a lot of my energy away to block all the negativity out. I know Chad's had something follow him home. That's our cameraman
from Elizabeth's grave,
and
and it was the Hummer. He woke up to humming in his ear
for 3 days straight.
Yeah, and he had to cleanse his home. And Elizabeth's grave is no joke. Like, Chillicothe has a lot of history and a lot of paranormal happenings.
And I mean,
amazing.
Also, with Elizabeth's grave, it does have those power lines that run. That's the big power lines that run through a field that's maybe 70 feet away, maybe 80 feet away from the cemetery itself. So I do believe that. I mean, we have a natural EMF device that detects natural EMF. And when we set it on the ground there at Elizabeth's grave, it just radiates. It just brightens up. And especially around the tree, though, that's what we thought was really amazing, because around the tree where the lady Elizabeth was hung, from the folklore about it, like, it's got a lot of energy. I know that Christy got sick one time. She never been back there. She says that Elizabeth's grave was one of the ones that terrified her.
Yeah, it terrified me with how intensely and suddenly I became ill. Like, I was ill, and I've never seen anything like it. And there's one corner of that cemetery where the caretakers have, it's also a folklore, so a lot of teenagers and a lot of vandalism has happened. So they take these old stones that have been vandalized, and they throw them into the woods in this big, huge pile of just old stones, and I don't feel that they're very happy about that at all, and that's where we were, and that was when I started to feel ill, and I had to leave, and I was sick, and I have not went back.
That's probably a good thing. So, is that the scariest event that you've ever had, or what do you feel is the scariest investigation that you've ever had?
No, that one I think would be just from the following aspect home. I think Chad is the only one that has some following home.
Yeah, and some terrifying. What was your most terrifying?
Mine was terrifying.
We were just talking about this earlier. Like, what was your most terrifying experience? I don't think I've had anything that's really like scared me yet. It's just made me even more interested.
That's good.
But Salem, Ohio's bridge, that was a lot of that. That was just terrifying, and it could have been the coyotes. But there just sounds like there's some chanting underneath with the enhanced audio that we have. And that part was a little terrifying.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
when we
That would
instantly
be.
approached the place, I instantly got nervous. I stopped and they continued on, and that's when it all started happening.
And that's what we've talked about before
Wow.
with Nick's barometer that tells him when to stop, and he can't go any further. I was like, well, come on, Nick, we're investigators. And I went further, and then that's when it all started. And he's like, I told y'all, nope.
And we just sat there and listened to those coyotes go off, and they're in the distance. They had to be pretty far off.
Oh, wow.
But the chanting and the laughter and the way it sounds, it's amazing catch, and it was truly spooky at the moment.
Well, I know that you have that natural barometer that's on the inside of you, Nick. That's got to be something that you were born with. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I don't like talk about it a lot, but I mean, when I've always had a good sense of direction, and I've always went with my gut on anything and everything that I've ever did in life, and it's got me through some crazy events. So
some pretty crazy
and not just talking, ghost wise, but like life events itself that I could have got caught up in, with just that few minutes that I spared, So,
wow,
but
amazing.
There's only a couple of the investigations that we've done that I truly couldn't go any further. It was the Salem, Ohio, and the Insane Asylum cemetery here in Columbus, Ohio. So it's way off in the distance by the highway, and there's this back entrance or this back area where they have Indians buried. And every single time that I try to walk back there, I can't walk anymore. Like my body doesn't move. My mind is saying, "Come on, let's go," but my body physically doesn't move. And and I haven't really been trying. I've been letting my abilities come to me very slowly. I don't want to push it because I don't want to scare myself. So I just I didn't know what it means, So I just all right, let's go. Let's walk the other direction. We'll let them go over there and do their investigation. I'm just going to stay here.
I think that's actually, I think that's a trait that everybody should have. To be quite frank with you, I think that would be a good thing. But if you could just give us a minute, we're going to take a break now for our sponsor. And we'll be right back with Nick and Christine from Purgatory Stories Investigations, okay? So I would like to invite each and every one of you to stop over to Psychics Secrets. That's www.psychicssecrets. That's 2 S's in the middle now. That's psychicsecrets.com. We're there to help guide you, direct you, and even if you have a paranormal question, we invite you to come over and talk about it. Sometimes in our lives we don't have that, the ability to have someone close by us so we can talk things through. We do need guidance and direction. And here we offer that for you 24/7. You can even make an appointment with a psychic if you'd like to. You can chat, you can have a voice call, you can even have a video chat. So you can stop on over, read our blog. We have a lot of really great things there. You can even look back to our past Secrets Mystery Manor. You're going to enjoy a lot of those. And especially this one will be on the website as well. And you can also see we talked about laws of attraction. That's also very, very important these days for each and every one of us. So I want to thank you and stop on over. And before we go, I want to let you know that we have a 30-minute special. We have that for new callers, and that is 30 minutes for $30 or $1 per minute. We can get a lot accomplished in 30 minutes. So stop on over, say hello, You can catch me on there. Again, yours truly. My name is Psychic Zelda Kelly. I'm extension 11, and we'd love to talk to you. And we'd also like to hear your comments. Please comment below or where you can in the comment section about our podcast today. So I want to thank you all for allowing us to bring this to you. You're so special. We just really love you. Now, we're going to get back to Nick and Christine. So thank you there for letting me take that moment. And now, Nick and Christine, I want to ask you, what equipment do you take with you when you go on your investigations?
So I think we should start with each person because we're all fully loaded down, it seems like. So Chad is our mad scientist. He is our audio engineer extraordinaire, master of all things audio, and his trade secrets and just everything that he knows about the world of audio is really what sets us apart from other paranormal groups, because we can really get in there and get the things that you wouldn't normally be able to hear. So Chad has the main camera, and the main camera is his hub where he controls our microphones and the main visual that you see during the investigations. And then Nick.
Yeah, so I basically use the EMF.
The EDI, which measures.
The EDI that I use measures the temperature, the humidity, the biometric pressure of the atmosphere.
Wow.
And the natural EMF. So that's one of my personal favorite equipment. It also records. So it also records everything too that's going on around it. We usually don't record it a lot because it's just a lot of editing, cutting in and cutting out to keep all that together.
Yeah.
And
a lot of storage.
Yeah, a lot of storage, and that's what we've been figuring out, that doing all this, a lot of storage has been eating it up.
So then he also uses the SB11 Spirit Box.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he seems to be a pretty good channeling with that device. They said his name has came through that box more, probably every investigation.
Yeah. Every investigation,
really?
yeah.
Nice.
I've been doing the timestamp. So almost every investigation, my name is set up through that box.
Yeah, and we're all wearing microphones. We all have an earpiece that allows us to hear in one ear the enhanced audio, like turned all the way up. So we're blaring in one ear, and Chad wears both ears, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, studio set.
Yeah. And
so basically, a lot of the times that we are hearing the stuff that we are catching, we are hearing it pretty much as you're hearing it
in real time.
In real time.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes
so they're audible. Great.
Yeah, so you don't have to, you don't have to stop and go back and to review EVPs.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to capture that in real time. So what else do you
wow.
We all have flashlights just in case.
Everybody's got to have a flashlight.
I'm trying to think of whatever he pretty much stays to a minimum because
I don't like to go big and go all out. I know that this year we have a lot planned for strategy-wise going in. I know it's usually us just going through, walking together. But we're thinking about spreading out a little bit for this year. But basically, that's my device. I don't think I venture too much off of it in the SB11, and I just feel whenever we give the SB11, like an upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we upgrade it.
Chad's building a special thing right now. We're not going to really talk too much about it because he's still in construction, but it's going to be a really awesome add-on to his usage of the Spirit Box. So then, as far as for my equipment, I have the second visual of Investigations, which Chad has dubbed the Ghost Cam, which sadly our full spectrum went down at Fairfield for our Halloween special. So now we have another one that we are in the process of ordering. So I've been using a different camera. And then I also carry another EMF detector, which we like to use both of ours in together to get yes and no answers. We like to, have them go all over the room to verify. It's just, we figured out how to really
tune in
to our energies together and the room together and really get them talking through the EMF.
That is so interesting. I just love hearing about this because when I started out in my young days as a Ghostbuster, I got to say that. You guys know I have to say Ghostbuster. when I started out in the early days of Ghostbusting, we certainly didn't have this equipment at all, and it's just exciting to see that we've come so far with so many things. We had Fisher-Price little cassette recorders, and believe me, sometimes those are the best things to pick something up. Other than
absolutely.
digital. So let me ask you, what now? Do you record with your cell phones? Do you have cameras, video cameras? How do you do any of your visuals or your video?
Okay, so basically, we are all mic'd up through an entire system with a field recorder. There's ways that Chad does his audio that we're actually trying to get patented that just catches everything disembodied more clearly.
And then so we're using a camera, and we actually have a thing that we all do simultaneously before we start. We've all put our phones in airplane mode, and we leave them back at our little headquarters. And we actually try to take no outside interference, nothing, no kind of anything that would put off any kind of signals. All of our cell phones are put away. We use cameras, field cameras, Sony. I forget what Chad's camera is called. I really should have done research before. I'm sorry.
But I mean, but
that's okay. This is I'm just so interested in what you've got to say. This is so interesting.
Yeah, basically, we just try to keep it to the bare minimum. We
try to use some of the technical things as far as scientifically.
Because no matter what, it's the audio that makes us, that separates us, and that's why I like that we go out here and we are actually having conversations with spirits or what may be, how people see this, and it's answering us and it's responding. And sometimes when we do catch it, since we do have our earpieces in, we try to feed off of that. So if we caught, hey you, I'm like, hey you, try to respond. Did you hear me? Can you hear me? So we try to respond with it. But I mean, it's the audio that sets us apart, and we try to make sure that we just EMFs to make sure that how the atmosphere is. Even whenever we go to homes and we get close to walls, we like to see where the power lines are before we start investigating, and then we know kind of where to stand and where to be. And then once things start happening, then
we try to debunk it as much as possible when it comes to things like that as well.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, my friends, we're going to have to wind this down. Our time went so fast. I've just been sitting here fascinated, and this is
we
fascinating.
We didn't even get to talk about the cemetery that you sent us to.
Oh, well, you know what? We need to talk about that. So let's take another few minutes and just talk about that real quickly, and then I want to tell our listeners how to get in touch with you, because I do know that you are on Facebook, that you are on YouTube, And if you want to share those places, but if you want to share about that cemetery that you went out to, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I think we were having a consult with you about an investigation we had went on and a client, and we started talking about your path. I think you grew up right around there. Was that right? That cemetery?
It was a little north. Yeah, it was a little north of there, but yes, that was kind of, as they say, my stomping ground. So yes.
And I have a natural draw towards cemeteries. Like I like to go in the springtime with my partner and we'll just drive around and go to old cemeteries and read headstones. So when you told us, I think it was the very next day, we both had nothing to do and was off work, so we drove.
Yeah.
And it was a fun little road trip, and we found it very easily with your directions, and we really just tried to tune in and feel the place. And man, we couldn't find the stone that you were telling us about, and I think we looked at every single headstone there.
Probably gone. That's been about, if I say this, it's going to date me, huh? That's about 46 years ago that I was there. And for our listening audience, this was a cemetery in Ohio that we had many Civil War soldiers. So there was one particular soldier that I was drawn to. At the time I visited there, I was 16, so now I just dated myself. Y'all can figure that out if you do your math. And and I resonated with him because we were both, I was 16 when I found his grave, and there was a picture back in the 1800s there, and during that time they would take the picture of the soldier in the uniform and put on the gravestone, and I'm sure that somebody probably has defiled that gravestone and chipped that away, but he was just such a good-looking boy, and it just broke my heart to think, there I was out having fun with my friends and everything, and this young man was out fighting for our country, and he lost his life. And so that's the headstone that when I spoke to Christine and Nick, said, hey, if you're out that way, can you drop over there and see if we can find this young man? I wish I knew what his name was, but that is I've got to tell you, that is a beautiful cemetery because the surrounding, I mean, Ohio is a beautiful state anyway, but just the pictures that you sent me that day, and if you can send me some of those pictures, I want to put them in our visual here when we edit this and we send it out to everyone.
Absolutely.
And you'll see the beautiful terrain. But so were you able to get any EVPs or anything like that at all, or was it basically quiet?
Well, it seemed like every time we would pass a certain grave where the name stuck out, it was like when we would go back and listen, because at this point we didn't have any of our special equipment. We just went out, hey, with our cell phones. So we're using our cell phones, and we went back and we would hear them like shout out their names, like the last name. We heard that several times with several different stones. And just the difference of the stones and the plots and the way they face. There was one stone that was elaborate and beautiful and carved, and it was facing towards the fence, towards the field. You couldn't even see it unless you went around to the back side of it, and I was like, oh wow. Well, that had to have been a wish of the person that maybe they wanted to look out into, because that is one thing. Ohio people are very proud of where they come from.
Oh yes, That just sounds amazing, and I if I haven't thanked you before, thank you very much for going out on that little field trip and trying to find that young man and stopping by that graveyard. That would be awesome to hear some of those. If you caught any of them saying their last names or anything else like that, that would be awesome. But our time is just about up, and I want to thank Nick and Christine from Purgatory Stories Investigations. This was a lot of fun, And I think if you go on Facebook, you're certainly going to be able to find their group. And they also have a YouTube channel. And if you ever have any hauntings or poltergeists or anything, please feel free to drop by, join their group, say hello to them, and say, hey, I have this or that happening. What can you tell me? And we just never know. If you talk to them nicely and give them cookies and milk, they just might even come out there and talk to you and see if they can find anything. But also, I want to invite you over to my Facebook group. I am at House of Psychic Zelda, and also you can find me at House of Zelda. And I'll tell you, I think this is a wonderful medium. You can stop by, and Nick and Christine are always in my group, and I'm always in there, and we're talking back and forth. We'd love to invite you and get in on the conversation. So, Nick and Christine, if you want to just tell us real quickly how they can, if there's a particular address or how anybody can contact you or see you on YouTube, that would be fantastic.
All right, yeah. So, I mean, it's plain and simple, really. It's just Purgatory Stories. And you can just type it in on Facebook. We usually pop up. We're either one or two. YouTube as well. You type in Purgatory Stories. We're usually about the first one or two at the top.
Look for the ghost. We try to have it where our icon is a ghost. So look for the ghost. Purgatory Stories.
Good. I love your banner, by the way, and I'm going to stick the banner in the video so everyone can see your banner. But I want to let you know how much I have enjoyed this time with you. It's just so nice to sit back and chat with some fellow paranormal Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah, well, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Well,
you're always there
so welcome.
for any questions, anything that we've ever needed. You've always been there, and we appreciate you so much.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Well, my goodness, you are so welcome. And I think that this is just such a tight community of so many people that are so interested in this field, and I think as time goes on, the interest is going to be even greater and greater. But for our audience, I want to thank you today for stopping by our Secrets Mystery Manor. You know how to get in touch with me, and I want to thank again to Psychic Secrets for sponsoring this video. And I'm just really happy to have you. This has been a lot of fun, and I hope you've had some fun too. Drop on by Facebook and tell Nick and Christine you said hello. Tell me that you're saying hello too. I'd love to have you. So for right now, be well, be blessed, and be very brave, heart. And don't get caught out there in a paranormal investigation without the professionals. You know how to find them. So I will talk to you very soon, and I'll see you again on the next Secrets Mystery Manor. Bye for now. Bye-bye, Christine and Nick. See
Bye.
you soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Until next time, thanks so much for listening. I just love this, don't you?